I want to replace the translated materials right away. This does two things for me. It allows me to see the details of the model and see if there's areas in the model that doesn't look correct or are missing parts. The other reason is by having good materials on the product, it becomes more enjoyable to work with. There are many versions of the same material in our materials list. There's a process we could have used to combine the materials, but I would rather deal with multiple materials, and then it's simple to remove the unused materials. By right-clicking on the first material and choosing Select Nodes, the black regions of the car are selected. Since this is going to be black, we'll rename the material black, change its diffuse color slightly, and then darken the glossy color. Notice that we have many more controls for this plastic type material that we could adjust as well. So I want to paint the car, and I'm going to start by selecting a piece of geometry. If we look in the scene materials, we're going to see the material that was assigned to that geometry is selected. I'm going to show you a few different ways to work with materials. The first approach is to convert an existing material into a different type of material. This material started as plastic. I'm going to convert it to a Unicolor car paint. Next, I'm going to change the material color. And now I'm going to turn off the wireframe so I can get a better read of what the color is looking like on the model. And then I'll rename the material when I'm done. The other choice is we can come in and we can create a new Unicolor paint. I'll rename this paint. And then I'm going to change the color. And this time, instead of using the manipulators to adjust the color, I'm going to use the pipette to grab a sample of the color that's on the model. The part is still selected. So the next step I have to do is right-click on the material and apply it to the selected nodes. If I drag the paint using my middle mouse button onto another piece of geometry, it's going to replace the material that's on that piece of geometry. So I can continue to do this process working around the model. And as you can see, it's very easy and very quick to do. The third approach that I want to talk about is using the Asset Manager. We provide plenty of examples of car paints and other types of materials within the Asset Manager. So all I have to do is go to the type of material that I want to use, select the material, and then using my middle mouse, drag it over to the existing material. Notice that when we use the middle mouse to drag a material over it, it replaces the existing material on the geometry. So let's take a quick inventory of our materials. We have the black for the undercoat, we have that orange that we created earlier, and we also have this paint that came from our asset library. Notice the V symbol on the material indicates that it's an asset material. By default, the asset material is set so that you don't accidentally modify it. So let's get some more material types into the scene so that we can continue decorating the model. I want to have a plastic black grille, so I'm going to go into my plastic areas. I want a structured material, and I want to choose the black one. And then I'm going to drag it onto the grille. Let me find a brushed aluminum for the wheels, and then drag that onto the wheels. I want a red brake caliper, and so I'm going to grab that out of the Unicolor paints. I want to find chrome for the lug nuts as well as the center round area. I'll put a clear glass for now onto the side glass. As long as I'm in the glass section, let me grab a headlamp glass and put that on the headlamp. Notice when I dragged that chrome onto the logo that we didn't see any changes. There are two reasons for this. One reason is that there's several pieces of geometry here, and as such we have to be careful of what we're actually assigning the material to. The other reason is that we have a gray background environment, and so we're not going to see much reflection with the gray background environment. So we're going to run into the same selection process that we had in the front. So now I'm going to select the pieces and apply to the selected nodes. And I know that I'm going to run into the same type of problem with the rest of the text that's on the vehicle. So what I'll do is I will go into the scene graph and select the whole file, and then I'll apply the material to it. So the glass is protecting us from selecting the geometry behind it. So I'm going to go into the scene graph and hide the geometry so I have access to the rest of the parts. I'm looking for a material that I can use for the white light bulb, and I'm not seeing it. So I'll just go ahead and create a new material. For the wheels, normally I'd like to use the tire material, but that's going to take some more manipulation in order to make that work properly. For now, I'll just go in and get a plain black plastic to put on the wheels.